Chapter 23. Cass could barely hear anything Deegan was saying. It wasn't that she was thinking about something else. She just wasn't hearing things right, or seeing them right, or something. She was just walking along in the rain. That was all. "We'll just get some more money," Deegan repeated. $5 more and we'll buy it back." Cass looked at him blankly. No. She would not try to get the mask back anymore. She would not negotiate with that man for something that wasn't important to him. It would make her too embarrassed and ashamed to buy anything, but especially something that mattered so much, from someone who had no respect for her. The Orenda was singing inside her anyway. It had never stopped. It would keep bubbling and gushing with life in all things and all places, whether Alice had Cass's mask or not. She didn't need the mask. Not really. Although her insides were sobbing at its loss. They had reached her driveway. "Good night," Cass said dully, and turned to walk up toward the door. "It'll be okay," Deegan said, his voice tight. "Tomorrow we'll make a new plan." She nodded without agreeing and turned the knob to enter the kitchen. She closed the door softly behind her, shutting Deegan out in the rain. The kitchen was dark, with only the light over the stove gleaming faintly. At first, Cass could make out very little. Then she realized with a start that Mom was sitting at the kitchen table, her head cradled in her hands. "Mom," Cass whispered, "are you okay?" Mom looked up. Even in the half-darkness, Cass could see that she had been crying. "Oh, Mom, what is it?" Cass tumbled into the chair beside Mom and wrapped her arms around her. Mom sank into Cass's arms, resting her head on Cass's shoulder. Not for the first time. Cass felt responsible for Mom, as if Mom were her child. Cass tried desperately to imagine what could possibly be wrong. Mom had been planning to speak to Mr. Gregor about how to maybe go back to school. Had she found out that was impossible? Did you talk to Mr. Gregor? Did something go wrong?" Surely Mr. Gregor wouldn't have said something unkind. Mom took a shuddering breath and sat up. She smoothed her hair and wiped under her eyes with the tissue beside her. Then she shook her head the way she did when she wanted to get the unhappiness out and get on with things. She smiled. Suddenly, Mom again, though rumpled. "Oh, yes, I talked to Mr. Gregor." She gave a short, sharp laugh. "That seems like 1,000,000 years ago." "What did he say?" "What did he say?" Mom repeated in a faraway voice. "He actually helped me a lot. I can take some courses online to get my GED. That's my high school graduation. And he looked at my resume and said he thought I might be able to do some cooking in his sister's daycare because she's looking for a cook." She stared down at her hands like they weren't hers. "So then he called his sister, and then I went over to the daycare and met her. And she's hired me on probation for a few weeks, but permanent after that if it works out. I'm starting tomorrow, so I can do that. So if I can do that in one day and get my GED at night." "That's wonderful," Cass cried. Then she gave me an advance of money. Mom blinked at Cass with eyes that seemed to only partly see her. "So I did what I promised you I'd do. I went over to the pawn shop where I pawned your mask. You know, the one you liked. I promised I would get it for you when I got a job." Cass drew her breath in slowly. Tears filled Mom's eyes again. "It was sold." Cass nodded. Mom whispered, "I let you down, honey. You don't ask for much, but that was something you really wanted. Mother of the Year here took it away and then couldn't get it back for you." "Oh, Mom, no." "So then," Mom said, "I was sitting there thinking about that mask and wondering why you felt such a connection to it." Her voice got low. And I thought you know about the day at the lawyer's office, Miss Miracle. Did you remember that she gave me an envelope?" Cass said softly, "You threw it away." The tears were spilling out of Mom's eyes now, and Cass could feel them as if they were her own, as if they were the tears of lots of people. "I went out," Mom said, "down to the bottom of the yard. It was teeming rain. I crossed the little stream and started picking through all that garbage. I know, I threw the envelope there, but I couldn't find it, not anywhere." She put her head in her hands. "I ruined everything, didn't I? Story of my life. I'm my own worst enemy. Who knows what was in that envelope? Could have changed our future." The music stirred inside Cass at that moment. It was a single voice this time. It circled ever higher, just as Cass had done around the white pine in her dream. As it flew higher, it grew bigger. When Cass spoke, her face was somehow in harmony with the other voice. "Mom, the envelope isn't lost." Mom looked up at her blankly, as if Cass was talking another language altogether. I have something to show you, Cass in that other voice said. Then she was scraping her chair back and running to her room. She ran to the dresser where the mask had been and where the envelope now was. She yanked open the drawer and grabbed it. Then she held the envelope to her for a minute. When she returned to the kitchen, she held it out to Mom. See, I rescued it. Mom took the envelope from Cass with trembling hands. She turned it front to back and smoothed the paper between her fingers. She began to ease the envelope open. Wait, Cass and Leorinda said. It was too dark to read, but the overhead lamp would be too bright, too garish for this moment. Cass took candles from the kitchen drawer and placed them on the table. Mom lit them with matches. The flames made shadows, dances on the wall. It could have been anywhere, any time in history. It was all times at once.